Today on the Daily Charge, how does the Note 10's new camera stack up? iPhone 11 feature rumors, and a glimpse inside Virgin Galactic spaceport.
Good morning and welcome to CNET's Daily Charge. It's Monday, August 19th. I'm Roger Chang.
And I'm Bridget Carey.
Let's take a look at today's headlines. The iPhone 11 is expected to launch next month, and our own Patrick Holland has a rundown of what Apple needs to add if it wants these new phones to succeed. The list is a pretty obvious one, including things like better battery life and cameras. For me, it's a long shot, but I'd love to see Apple come out with a redesigned screen that eliminates the notch, just like a lot of these other companies. Bridget, what do you want to see in the iPhone?
The notch still bothers you after all this time. You haven't just gotten used to it.
You know
by
what?
Now.
It was this cycle where I was okay with it, then it bothered me, then I made my peace with it. But then these other phones have come out now and have eliminated the notch in novel ways. I'm like, why can't Apple do that? It's all about innovation, right?
Yeah. Well, I will say that I've been on maternity leave for a while, so I've been out of the whole rumor cycle. It's been pretty great to be out of it, honestly. But now I'm coming back, going, okay, all right, what do we got for the 11? And I mean, are all three phones gonna look the same, really,
Pretty
on the
much.
front? Like, why don't we have more options? Still, maybe some people want that Touch ID home button,
Yep.
And I know they're gonna give up on it, but I mean, maybe that's what I want, and I want more of more options on visuals, for the different models, but also more options in the software. The camera's better. Yeah, the camera's always better. But, maybe we don't need to have that whole effect where you have to push deep into the screen anymore.
The Force Touch.
I hate Force Touch. I never use it. So, maybe I care more about the software updates than the physical attributes, since they're all going to look the same.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see an in-screen fingerprint reader. I mean, Samsung's done it. Now they've done it for about a year now. Other companies have. It'd be nice for Apple to bring that back too.
And how about some really cool uses of AR? Because you always hear them tease about it, but I want to feel a little bit more drawn into that. What's possible.
Definitely. Next up, Virgin Galactic is set to commence its first commercial space voyage in a few months. And Eric Mack had a glimpse inside Spaceport America's gateway to space. Last week, Virgin Galactic said that the spaceport is operational and invited folks to tour the facility. What do you think? Are you eager to go to space?
I don't really do well on rides like the Gravitron and anything that involves G-forces, so I don't know if I'll make it. I mean, I always wanted to go to space camp as a kid,
right?
But I think I'm good seeing how this first batch of rich people do.
Yeah, keep in mind this is not for everyone. There've already been 600 passengers who've plunked down deposit, but the ticket for one of these rides is $250,000. That's a lot of money going to space.
But it's space.
That's true.
And it's the ultimate brag on Instagram.
That really, your Instagram photo is going to be blowing up there. So, yes. Now for our main story. Jessica Dulcourt has been taking the new Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus for a spin, and her ongoing review has found a much improved camera. Now, Samsung's cameras have generally been good, but not top tier. So, the fact that the Note 10 Plus's night mode seems to stack up well against the Pixel 3 is a good sign for folks who are looking for this phone.
Yeah, and on her article, there is a example of the photo with night mode on and not, and it's pretty cool. It's much more crisp, when capturing lit signs at night. So I'm like, all right, I can see that perk being definitely worth it. It's a lot of my shots are at night.
I noticed the photos seem to be a lot sharper. Now, it's not perfect. Google and Huawei's phones, the Pixel 3 and the Huawei P30 Pro. Did I get that right? The names are all kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
P30 Pro, they do tell you kind of how long to hold your phone steady to get the optimal shot, whereas the Note 10 sort of makes you guess a little bit, which is not ideal.
Well, I mean, I'm always just in the moment, right? So it's getting a reminder on your screen to hold still might be helpful sometimes.
Now, keep in mind, this is an ongoing review. She's had it for a couple of days now. She's made a bunch of tweaks to make it perfect for her. But this is an ongoing process. It's still going to take a couple of days to really kind of get all the battery tests out of the way to get a full rated review. So stay tuned to CNET there. All right. So next up is part of the show that is really the backbone of what we do here, the Q&A for the uninitiated. The Daily Charge is heavily fueled by our audience feedback, meaning if something you want to know more of, just ask. So if you do have questions or comments about today's topics or beyond, go ahead and fire them off in the chat or hit us up on Twitter. BVG, what questions are people asking?
So first of all, how dare you sandwich cool space news between two lame phones? I don't understand how you structure things. You're supposed to be a journalist. This is disturbing and sad. And on Gene Roddenberry's birthday of all days, how dare you?
Oh, that's why I actually added that story.
Yeah, yeah. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Honestly,
live long and prosper, everyone except Roger Chang.
That's why I kind of hopped quickly through the space segment because it's not my strongest topic. So that's why I sandwiched them in there. I wanted to mix it up, but I'm not a space expert.
I'm checking out this lounge. It's total like 1950s vibe going on a little bit.
Well, it feels like what the future looked like when you were what people imagine the future would look like if you were in the 1950s.
And I love that atomic space age futurism type thing. That's my jam. It's all about like the Tomorrowland look, you know. So if you're gonna do it, at least do it right there.
I can't get over how much that doesn't look like a spaceport to me. It looks like a Starbucks.
A little bit like IKEA with the wood.
I feel like
though.
It looks like a regular airport.
I need a little more sparkle.
Yeah.
I imagine something more, I don't know, like chrome, I guess. Like 1950s chrome.
Chrome or just
right?
a lot more shiny. Like there's a lot of woods here and plant life, and I'm like, nah, you're going into space, man. You gotta have it like that cold look.
It's got the curvy architecture I kind of like. You know, the building at least has interesting curves to it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting curves mean the future.
Yeah, right? Tomorrowland? It's very Tomorrowland-esque.
It is very Tomorrowland-esque. Let's talk a little more space while we're here.
Damn it, Brian.
Sorry. Come on. Space is cool.
All right.
Ryan Williams says, if I won the lottery, I'd gladly pay $250,000 for a flight into space. What would it take for you to take a flight into space? That's our little chatterbox poll in the chat today. It's not everything's about you, Roger.
No.
That's to the audience.
I have a question about that, though. Like, how much, like, what kind of jackpot would it take for you to go, all right, $250,000 for a ticket? Like, what if you only won $250,000 in the lottery? Would you spend it all towards that ticket? Or would you have to go, like, you'd have to win, like, a really big Powerball one?
And have a little extra, padding on the side just to get you through?
How much would you really commit to this space adventure?
You got to live life, Roger.
I guess so.
You know, like how
I'm
many
too practical. That's what it is. I'm just,
You save it, and then you die, and you don't do anything with it.
Right.
And that's your regret.
The tombstone says never went to space. Too cheap to go to space.
Well, I want to know how many of these people who are wealthy to just plop down this money have the physical means to maybe do this, because
excellent question.
I mean, it takes training. It takes a lot of resistance to hurling, or maybe they have a lot of those convenient rich people barf bags.
Yeah, I would
everywhere.
say if I'm rich enough to spend $250,000, I'm gonna have someone puke for me. I can afford to have someone do the getting sick part.
It's
for
your
me.
seat plus another seat for the assistant.
Yeah.
So
or I just throw up on that person.
Now it's
I don't
$500,000.
Yeah.
Commander Trium says, what is Virgin Galactic proposing to do with this spaceport exactly? Is it strictly a tourism kind of destination? Is it for legitimate astronauts and missions? And is May 2020 a real possible date in our view?
I mean, it's definitely plausible. I think they're looking to use this spaceport as sort of the, basically where you launch for commercial voyages, where these rich folks who are able to spend $250,000 for a ride will actually go. That's basically their airport to get onto the plane or the ship to get out to space.
It's like space cruising.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I hope when I'm up there, there's like a full buffet.
Oh my god! Combined with the hurling, that just seems like a really bad.
No. You gotta calm down, get some Dramamine in you. You're good.
Yeah.
And then you have the buffet in space with the spacey looking desserts.
I wonder how
long.
Gotta have a theme.
I want theme. I wonder how long you're actually up there. Do you just hang out there for a few minutes and then you just go back down?
No, I want to hang out there.
Right?
Otherwise, then it's just a ride, a very expensive ride.
And as for May 2020 as a deadline, I mean, they basically said that, or they said last week that commercial launches would commence within a year. So May is kind of a realistic timetable. But keep in mind this whole project has been beset by tons of delays. So you never know.
Commander Trium.
15 years ago, the reservations began. I mean, how many people still are the same? I mean, where were you 15 years ago? How different is your life? That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
People have been thinking for 15 years that it'll eventually happen.
And would they have lost their fortune at that point? What if they had put down the money back then and
or health issues.
Several recessions. Yeah, or health issues.
I guess
right.
you could give someone else your ticket, but yeah.
Hopefully they're transferable.
Yeah.
Few people in the chat are concerned about being the beta testers on the first trip. Perhaps they'll wait for the second trip. Commander Trium asks, will the SpaceX contract to have colonists leave from Mars via the spaceport?
That's a really good question. I think there's SpaceX, I want to say, has some sort of facility in Texas. Or maybe I'm misremembering, but I think there are other facilities, but I think this is the one that right now. Sorry, I was thinking about Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin project. I think they have something out in West Texas. I don't know what SpaceX is doing necessarily, but I right now this port is, I think, strictly for Virgin Galactic.
And this is why I'm totally good for going to Galaxy's Edge at Disney instead. I'm like, oh, I'll just pretend to be in space. It's totally fine. I don't need to do all this. Although it is, still money you got to plunk down. Just maybe not as much.
Definitely not as much.
So many interesting logistical questions coming through. We kind of just covered this, but what is the waiting line time frame for the space ride? You said people put their names on a wait list almost 15 years ago. So is the entire first ride sold out? Has it started to stack up beyond that? Do we know where they're at?
I mean, for sure, the first ride. I mean, if there's 600 passengers on the list, the ship is not carrying 600 people. So, yeah, I imagine many rides are already booked up at this point. It's hard to tell because they haven't really. It's not like they have a published list of the schedule, right? This is taking off on June so and so at 10 a.m. Like, we don't really know. But if there are 600 people on this list already, chances are you're going to be waiting. You're going to be waiting maybe months for this thing to actually happen for you.
And how long is the space ride? Do they have an ETA yet? Is it just a few minutes?
That's what I wanna know.
We were talking about that, and I kind of picture it like you do, where it's like a cruise, like a prom cruise or something like that in space, where and the last 15 minutes, Smash Mouth comes out to play, but you're up there for maybe 2 hours.
Oh, I would. Yeah. I would also hate it if all the great sightseeing was on the right side and you got the left seat.
Oh, yeah.
On the right, you'll see the moon. On the left, nothing. For miles and light years upon.
Well, I mean, you do get the Earth, right? The Earth's gonna be pretty nice.
I've seen it.
Well, not from that perspective.
Sorry,
there's something about, they always say, about seeing Earth that makes you realize how small you are and how the problems of today, and puts things in perspective. So if you ever feel, I've heard, if you're ever feeling like you're having a rough moment with anything, you can always just kind of reflect maybe a little bit on where we are in the universe.
So the secret to world peace is just getting all of our leaders up there in space, looking at the planet from below,
getting to be thinking about the bigger picture than
sending
just
them into the sun.
your little world.
Sorry, I didn't say that.
No, you didn't say that. Come on.
These questions, I would never even have thought about this stuff. What's the insurance like for space rides?
I imagine you're waiving your life insurance. I don't know.
Probably.
It's like when you go skydiving. Mm-hmm. Basically, your life insurance is kind of void if you jump out of a plane. So getting into a space shuttle is probably even riskier. Can you imagine the actuarial calculations that would go into space travel?
Could you want to be a lawyer on that legal team?
I know, right?
Here's another good one. What is the actual reservation process like? Besides just dunking down a ton of money, what did they go through? Was there a rigorous screening? Do you have to do training like astronauts do for G-force and all that?
You have to, right? Because otherwise you're going to have... I mean, if they allow someone who can't handle the G-forces on, that's bad for business when you got dead customers, So
I mean, I imagine
you gotta have something.
I imagine right now, for anyone probably could have plunked down the deposit, but once it got down to all right, we're actually gonna fly. Yes, I imagine there's got to be some sort of physical you've got to take.
Just make sure your heart's okay.
Yeah,
I think that's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But that's still I haven't researched this myself, so now you got me curious. I want to look this up.
There you go.
Switching gears over to phones.
Oh, thank
God. For the Note 10 Plus, can you shoot RAW?
RAW. That's a really good question. I believe you can, but I need to double check. Let me get back to you.
Let's get Patty Horn on the line here.
That's a really good question, but I need to check.
Besides battery life, camera, modem, 5G, screen size, what other innovations can companies innovate? Do you think rental phones will come back instead of buying a phone outright?
Ooh, rental phones. I I'd like to see that actually. I mean, obviously foldables although that has definitely kind of hit a bit of a snag this year as we saw foldables come out.
That's just for show. It's like to say, hey, look what I got. It's something different than you. But
at least the beginning for sure.
Right, and then we need more apps to show actual usefulness.
Right.
Right.
Removing the notch, Apple. There's the innovation I want to see. Come on.
Why does it look like all the phones are like gonna have like a million cameras on the back, and somehow we're gonna be like, ooh, but I have 5 cameras, you only have 3.
Right.
Well,
I think there is a Samsung camera out there with
6
five or 6 in the back.
Yeah, like it looks kind of nuts.
Pretty soon it'll be just. I think Joan made that joke, but it's increasingly not going to be a joke. It's like covered with cameras, like 40 cameras in the back. Just no matter where you hold it, doesn't matter because you've got other cameras there to keep going. I don't know. We're getting there.
Next question is from Timothy. Can we please have a solar panel on the back of the phone? Solar charge will be the next big thing. Follow up to that. Me Xavier says most of us all sit in the dark like mushrooms. Solar panels are wasted on us. Me Xavier is after my own heart here. In the meantime, how are we going to get solar panels on the back of phones when they're covered with cameras like a fly's eye?
See, I do like that idea though, but it takes a long time to charge with solar. I mean, I can imagine like you're out there on a hike or just forgot your charger. It's a tough day. Just like plop down on a bench and at least get a little juice to.
Although when you're on the move, like you keep your phone in your pocket, so that kind of renders it. No,
this is more like an emergency kind of situation where I'm totally dead. You know what? It's something to think about because we're in a time where your MTA, the subway system here, it's like, oh, you can pay with your phone.
Yep.
And I mean, if we get to a point where everything is on the phone, like you go on the bus, your ticket for the bus is a digital ticket, like your monthly pass, and you run out of juice, you can't ride the bus, So people do need something to kind of maybe help them get by. And who wants to carry around the brick when you could just have a little solar charge? Be like, hey, can we just get my bus pass? That kind of thing.
That said, I have tested some of those solar chargers, and like to your point, the big frustration is it takes forever for it to actually store up enough juice to power the phone.
Can't be cloudy. You got to have a direct, hit, and takes forever.
But yeah, if you want that, I think integrating solar panels into the phone is a bad idea because of that practical issue. But there are sort of portable solar chargers if like you're going out camping, or if you really need to have a phone that has that last bit of juice, like carry a separate solar charger, because that at least kind of gets you like halfway there and it gives you some juice.
I want to see places just to have more like touchpad chargers,
like wireless chargers.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we're in a big hub like New York. They have these new pillars around the streets where if you needed a charge, you could plug in if you have your cord with you.
Oh yeah.
But if we see more integration in our everyday lives, like if you're at a restaurant, just get a charge quickly with just wireless charging. That's changing my life.
Yeah, so for a while there was a standard called PowerMat that they were getting these wireless charging stations in Starbucks at actually out in Madison Square Garden, like in the venues. You could actually have. Problem was like most of the phones were using a different standard, so they wouldn't charge. That was kind of confusing. But I would love to see like at McDonald's, at Starbucks, like you put your phone down on the table and start charging automatically.
Mm-hmm. People might be worried about their privacy if they're not knowing how the technology works. Like, I don't want it on my phone with the company.
That was kind of the hook with the PowerMat stuff. Like, it also was like kind of taking your data at the same time. So like not exactly, but like that's how they kind of marketed it. So yeah,
I
just want the power.
Shocking. Ulterior motives. I think there's something to be said for maybe market-specific researched alternate power sources, because like here in New York, sun, in LA, of course, solar power might be a little more handy and readily available for those actually trying to get a clean shot without any clouds or anything in the way.
Yep.
Here, what about is there a term for it, like a pedometer counter kind of thing? If you use kinetic energy, because like I'm on my feet, I walk an easy probably like 9, 10, 11 miles a day collectively. If I use that to charge a phone, I could see to the end of the millennium.
I mean, that's like those old, like you said, kinetic watches, right? You walk around and you charge them. I don't know.
I got something. What if you could give me a charge? Like I can borrow a charge from just like touching your phone.
I mean,
Like,
so Samsung has that. Samsung did that last year.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you can.
I missed this.
You can basically put your like earbuds on the phone.
Oh
and
no!
it'll charge the.
I mean, like my phone to your phone. Would that
no,
work
but
too?
you can do. Well, I don't know if you can. I believe
Like,
you
hey,
can.
buddy,
you
can
can.
spare
No,
a
you can
charge?
charge another like Samsung phone with your Samsung.
But
with
that's.
your yeah.
I'm gonna see it wider.
I mean, maybe we'll see it with the iPhone this year. I don't know.
It's about
Charge each other's
making your
phones.
life easier. If these things are attached to the hip already with us, like have it be effortless to keep them all charged.
There you go.
While we're on the topic, even more forward thinking that would never have occurred to me in 1,000 years, do you think there will be a version of put it on my tab in a bar when it comes to phones and charging?
Like bars would charge you for the charging?
Maybe
Or-
I'm reading this wrong. My thought it was like if you're exchanging power or something like that, you have to put it on my tab, or maybe they're thinking more like actually treating your phone more like a wallet, so that like there's an ongoing tally or app or something if you're a regular at a bar or
Yeah,
a
you
restaurant.
just walk
There's
out,
my
be
usual,
charged
like
instead of-
Amazon Go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That way you're not like, oh, I left my ID at the bar. I got to get it tomorrow. You know.
Right. So you walk in, basically they'll just start serving you drinks, and automatically you'll get charged, or
I guess I could be down with that.
I mean, that sounds really dangerous, actually. In my 20s, that would have been really bad.
Fair enough, but
Walk out with like a $300 bill, just like, what happened?
I still think it'd be kind of nice because most of the time I'm not going to a place without the anticipation of spending X amount anyways. If I could just avoid that exchange. Of course, a lot of times you're just taking more money out of people in the service industry's hands, or working hard for a good tip kind of thing. So I don't know.
That's true, because Apple would want a cut of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shocking. A few minutes left. I want full night vision. Is that available for cell phones yet? And I'm talking like full-on goggles.
Night vision.
No, like infrared type of like baby cam style phone. That would be cool. That would be cool. I mean, if they could do it for these dinky little baby cams that we install, like why not throw it in? Why not throw it in a phone? That's
Those things
cool.
cost like $10 or $15. Like,
Yeah.
how do we not have that as a module for a phone?
That'd be cool. But
That's a great
that
idea.
really is just a cool effect, essentially.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to use it every day. But
I mean, I would, if I'm going to my kid's room and it's pitch black in there and I didn't want to wake them up with lights, like having like a night vision mode on my phone would be kind of sweet.
yeah,
Yeah.
Never
Good
thought
idea.
that.
Great suggestion.
Actually thought that was supposed to be a joke, but you're right. You justified it. Why can't we get one large camera sensor on the back of phones like a regular mirrorless camera?
Well, I think the module for those mirrorless cameras are a lot bigger than the ones you'd get in a phone. I think. And having multiple lenses allows for different options. So that's why you've seen this trend of 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras per phone. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a size constraint, particularly keeping the phone relatively thin.
Fair enough. And to close things out for today, Storm King asks, which would be a better value, the Note 10 regular or the S10 Plus?
Ooh. I think the Note 10, well, it's a complicated question. The Note 10 regular is, I think, the better deal on its surface, but I believe the S10 Plus probably has a bunch of discounts now because it's several months old. But the Note 10, sorry, I keep saying Plus. The Note 10, the starting price is lower than the S10 Plus, so which makes things a little bit confusing. But for me, I think it's the better deal. Get the stylus.
You like that stylus?
I actually don't, but for some folks, like the
if you're
option
gonna
of
go
having,
there, go get the stylus.
Exactly.
Like,
might as well have the
that's
option.
the point of the phone. Yeah.
One feature of the Note 10 that did grab me was the idea that you can jot down notes handwritten on your stylus, and it'll actually recognize and digitize those notes into like email or text format. So that's kind of nice. If I'm like jotting down like my notepad, I jot down notes all the time, but then I've got to manually type them in. If that's done automatically for me, that's a huge.
I want to
huge game
see
changer.
how well it passes like the quick writing journalist test, because I got
That's
scratch
true.
when I'm
That's
going fast.
true.
But that's a good measure of where we are in this technology, right? Because I want that too. I want to be able to get a quick translation of what I'm writing. But I'm sure it's gonna think I have terrible handwriting, so
It'll judge you for
Yeah.
sure.
All right, that's a perfect place to kind of close things off for the first episode of the week. I want everyone to go to Twitter and @Roger, more space talk, because space is cooler than phones and 5G. So go ahead and take care of that for me so we can actually cover cool things on the show this week. We'll be back tomorrow, though, and until then, Roger can take us home.
All right. Nothing's cooler than 5G. What? Thank you again for joining us. Just as a reminder, we stream live here on YouTube, Periscope, or at CNET.com/dailycharge, weekday mornings at 11:15 a.m. Eastern. If you're enjoying the show, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't like the show, well, you can tell us about that as well. The Daily Charge, I'm Roger Chang.
And I'm Bridget Carey.
Thanks for watching.